Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Relic, Grind, and Talk with me, Caetsu Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, I believe last time was when we kind of properly got started on the monk side of things with these stupid book steps. It's gonna be real funny once we're finally done with all the book steps, because then we're suddenly gonna get like a whole step or two done in a single day. But that's essentially where we left off. Let me actually just go and check the fates while we're at it. In the meantime, hey Kaj, hey Retro Gaming, hey Taldemar, hey Aerodel, hey Rust, hey Lana, hey Crab Galaxy, No. Hey Yassel, hey Alice, hey Mistel, hey Jen Monica, hey Fila, hey Ilya, hey Naomi, hey Yannick, and hey Brontom. Hope you're all doing very well. Right. But the way that this stream works is, as usual, that I will derp around doing book steps. And then we have the opportunity to talk about whatever. Oh! We have one! Hey! I was expecting the new relic, but I tried my best. I'll just say in my defense that this was an accurate stream title 2 weeks ago. And I technically already completed the new relic steps. The only thing that's remaining is a lot of mathematics farming. So that this would have been a dailies stream for that, which is what's going to happen next week. Also, hey Yalva, hey Nick Jolly, hey Kupamana, you all doing very well. Which AR relic is your favorite? It's probably between the Black Mage one and the Paladin one, because I use both. Philo says, wouldn't you want to check the fate with the exclamation point? Since those didn't show the title of the fate. With the exclamation point? What do you mean? Huh? What do you mean, Fila? But that is why, Alva, that is the reason why in the thumbnail I'm standing next to Gerald in the shroud. But I mean, it kind of same-sees, right? The point is that I'm just doing some farming while we can talk about anything. So if you want to talk with me about something, if you have a question, if there's some topic you think would be interesting to talk about, this is a pretty good opportunity for that. Kurthus. Oh, no worries, Alva. But actually, I showed off very briefly yesterday on stream that I have the relics completed. So there wouldn't really be much farming to be had as a result. As Metricon says, there are so many Geralds lurking about in the world now. Yeah, I was actually a little bit disappointed when he almost had this like, oh yeah, Like, it almost sounded like, for just a moment, that we were gonna get sent to the 9th Gerald for the last relic step, but nope. Nope. Niham, hope you're doing well. Oh boy, 44 degrees. Please no. Example, there's the one in the east right, I think, on the far left of the map. I mean, why would I want to check those, Fila? I'm checking the ones that I need, and I know if I know roughly where they spawn, I'll just check that, right? Nay, Eros and Sally, hope you're doing well. Well, in that case, Eros, if you've been in the chat before and I don't, then I probably won't recognize the name. I'll do a dungeon. One of the dungeons we need. Get some time in between. But yeah, I basically, when I land in a zone, Fila, I know roughly where the duty the fate I need is. So I'll look where that, like, if it is there. And for instance, in the East Shroud, the whole left part of the map is like level 10 to 20. And you don't need any level 10 to 20 quests for the bookstep. So there's no need to even bother looking. Hey, Brad and Ridleyan! Hope you're doing well. But there are some of them where I just can't remember the exact location, so I'll look like more widely to have a chance of finding it more quickly. I'm glad to hear that, Fila. Yeah, the funny thing, as Alva kind of mentioned, the funny thing with the Realm Reborn relic steps is that what really makes it tiresome and awkward to deal with is typically just the book step. The rest of it is fine. But the book step takes like, as we determined on the speedrun stream, like 7 hours on its own. Which, mind you, is the nerfed version of the book step. It used to be more. It used to be more. Which I think is interesting to mention, because I'm pretty sure that I've heard people say that the book step, as we call it, for the final relic now in Dawntrail, I think I've heard people say that it takes like 14 hours. But that's a, you know, first of all, it's a one-time thing. And it is less... Yeah, exactly, Curious Pop. The World Tour step. Some call it the book step. And I am some. Yes, the Dawntrail book step is a one-time thing. Um, 14 hours feels way longer than what I think I spent on it. I guess it can kind of depend on how quickly you do, like how quickly you do things, how you go about doing the things. Well, let's count it out, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 dungeons. If each dungeon takes like 15 minutes each, which I think is pretty generous if you're not in a pre-made rushing it. Probably some of them will take a little bit longer, some of them will take a little bit less. About 15 minutes per dungeon I think is pretty reasonable. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes, and that's just the dungeons. Then we have all of the trials, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think those you can probably say about 10 minutes. Again, some of them will take a bit less, but can swing a little bit. So now we're at about 4 hours and 25 minutes. And then you have the 12 normal raids, which, again, probably around 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. Some of them will take significantly less. Some of them might take a little bit longer. So, again, it's going to be like a rough estimate, but around 10 minutes each. Then that would put us at 6 hours and 25 minutes. And then there's the 3 Alliance raids. Which will probably take around 20 to 30 minutes each, I would guess. If we say 20 minutes and say again generous, and it's 7 hours and 25 minutes. And then there's just each of the zones. I guess a probably more likely estimate is that it's probably closer to 9 hours rather than 14 hours. But because of the way a lot of people would approach this, I have a feeling that you can probably add a lot of fill time in between, if that makes sense. Phyllis says, may I ask why no fellowship this week? Is it a bi-weekly thing? Nox and I finished what we planned to do or what I had planned to do in the fellowship streams. We've kind of reached the point where it's just like gear farming, which I don't think is nearly as entertaining to watch. And I already find it a little bit... I find it enough to power grind one character up to like eternal gear, so I don't know if I'd do more than one. So for that reason, it kind of just went for something else. And right now I think the Northhorn thing is also pretty fun. There's also the part with the whole seasonal thing to it that that at some point you've done the things that people think are interesting in it, and I like to stop series like that, stream sets like that at a reasonable stopping point. Like, for instance, if I started streaming the gear grind itself, then first off, it would be a shame that I didn't stream the start of it, right? Suddenly you're just on a you see a character that has skipped a large part of it. And then maybe something gets in the way and I just don't finish on that character. So then you just sat through that whole gear grind to not see the result of it. So because of that, I didn't want to stream gear grinding itself. And then I did something that I think was more interesting in 14. New content in 14. Is what we did yesterday. I also think Nox enjoyed not having to drop what he was doing for a stream on my end. Maybe not. Who knows? But that's the reason, is simply that I feel like we finished what I set out to do. And maybe we'll revisit the Fellowship again and again. It is a very repeatable game by design. The Fault Fins. Hey, procrastinauts, hope you're doing well. Yeah, so seeing how fast things pop, I thought we had to do that for every weapon. Well, I mean, I think the reason for that is simply that a lot of people need to do it. But I do get what you mean. It does seem like it just keeps going. And thank you, Fila. What? Ah, yes, the classic little bit of latency. A little bit of latency. Ooh. Eager says, are you participating in the yokai event? Why would I do that? I finished it last time the yokai event came around. Huh? What? Just do it again as a treat. Ross says, is the yokai event the same as last time? I believe they added something where if you've already done a certain amount of stuff, you can get like a framer and things like that. But I believe that's it. So if you're already finished, you just go and get your new reward. Thank you, Erdal. Erdal says they only added 3 furnitures, but you don't need to grind anything new. Yeah, I learned by Sip mentioning it to me randomly yesterday that, oh, there's the yokai event again. Like, oh. I didn't mind the yokai event. I actually believe I streamed some of it last time it was around. Yes, how about Small Kai's yokai event? Nah. You do know, Gazzle, Small Kai doesn't grind things. She does not have the patience for that. Hey, Blex, hope you're doing well. Is yokai event the one we call like medals from Fates? Yes. You have to drag around a yokai. It's a Dublin! But he's not from Dublin. And that's why Small Guy doesn't level crafters. There's grindstones involved. Yeah, exactly. Is the drop rate that low? It is not, but it's funny to exaggerate, right? I recall that the most annoying zone to do the yokai event, in my experience, was Eastern Thanalan. The one with Camp Drybone. Because for some reason, like, they have a whole bunch of fates. I think we saw that 2 weeks ago when we landed there, and there's like the whole zone was just full with fates. The problem is that they have all sorts of weird respawn timers, so sometimes you can wait for a really long time. Like, relatively speaking. Also, the 5 streak and the 40 streak. Quite sure the loves giving me buttons to press, and pressing them is what I do. That's the spirit, procrastinauts. Thank you so much, both of you, for checking in with all these streams. Monzum says, this is probably a great time to Atma farm. Oh, yes. During the yokai event? Mm-hmm. Definitely. I have a feeling that maybe this is the time where we will have to wait for fates a little bit. Agent Monica says, today I learned I could dance part of my chocobo. How I didn't know that before, I don't know. Because it probably didn't come up very much. I believe also that it's really inconvenient, because I'm pretty sure you have to repartner it every time you mount up. Bruh. Punch! How weird it must be to be a random mob in this world. Just standing around minding your own business, and then suddenly just see someone come flying in and then just boom! And then lights out. You never see again. You're just dead. Like that Markiplier meme. And you're just gone. Adel says, I thought that it would be a good moment to level Beastmaster for people who didn't do the event. Next says, don't I have done 32 fates now for Sapion and only received 4 medals? Well, I mean, fair, but I mean, that's not 0.01%. I was like, Chris. And also, hey, Bimo, I missed you earlier. Sorry about that. Flying in on a Japanian mount. I believe that one is the fate I need. I know the moment that the fate starts. Hey, Ilya. There it is. It is the one. Ah! Hold. What was that? I sink down and then I just immediately get ganked. I don't know what they were expecting, that I wouldn't just unsync myself again. Hey, Trollikins! Hope you're doing well. I did 3 fates and got a legendary token. That's the spirit. Chris Pop says, do we know when the reward restrictions will be lifted on the 3rd walk alliance raid? I'm running out of coins. I mean, technically you should be, you know, not have coins to spare given the current state of things, right? But I believe that they will probably lift the restriction. If they lift it, my best guess would be that it will coincide with them lifting the the weekly lockout on Savage Raids. Now, I don't know if that will be 756 or 758. She's been weakened! We've got her now, boys! Oh no! She can undo that? Oh god! Sylphs don't get progress and that's part of the fate justify. Really? Weird. Uh-huh. I guess I can see that from the tooltip, from the explanation there. Brett says in previous expansions it has been 58. In that case it would be 58. In my defense, usually by the time that they lift the coin restriction, I'm like so done. I was like, Mask. Like they're like, now you can grind all the coins you want. I'm like, for what? Yeah, I do see that, Haunted Mask. That does make sense, yep. Something like that, Curious Pop. But if you need more of the upgrade materials, then you could do hunt trains. That doesn't have a limit. I'll say yummy. Hope you're doing well. Hey. I just need one more fate. Check if it spawned while we were away. $84 gil! Wowee! Wow! 84 smackers! Amazing! Amazing value! I should farm that fate for the gil it provides specifically. When they're that generous, like how couldn't you? I'll buy you so many hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, I think it'll buy me like. Is it 5 gil per egg? Hey Silva, hope you're doing well. Hey Weaver, hope you're doing well as well. Don't spend it all on Ty. I can't afford them. Also, I ain't say no. Hope you're doing well as well. I did you a little bit earlier. I think you came in saying something. Yes. I think I actually said the same thing as you separately. Sorry about that. Oh. Okay, calm down. You killed 2 of our men at once? Fate it is. You've done this. You did the secret technique to summon the boss. It only comes out when you kill exactly 2 dudes at once. Think of the opportunity cost. Is boiled eggs, is it 5 or 10 gil? Oops. Because either we could get like 16 or maybe we get like 20 eggs. Could you imagine? Or 8 eggs. 8 or 16 eggs. How amazing would that be? It wouldn't quite be a full inventory. This magic comes as weak as 5 gil. Okay, so 16 eggs, and if we can scrounge together like 1 more gil somewhere, then we can get a 17th egg. And we can finally truly start our egg collection. It's gonna be crazy. And one day, we'll have 999 eggs. And then we can stand in Limsa Lominsa and eat all of them. Just to show how rich we are. Hey, Crusher. Hope you're doing well. What do you mean with that? Well, you see, we got 84 gil from a fate. And we're talking about what we could spend it on. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it, Crusher? Right, now we just need the Fate in the dungeon. So we might as well just go to where the Fate spawns. Where's the giant Seps spawn? Basically living your best life. with all the eggs to eat. Hey, Lasagna, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Gero says, how would you rate the Occult Crescent grind after this patch? I mean... I think that the Occult Crescent is fine. I haven't finished the North Horn, and I never did the Fork Tower and South Horn, so I don't feel like I'm the best person to ask. I think the content is fine. Part of the problem is that I was never like that big of a fan of field operations. So I might not farm it as much as others do. But the ones that like that content seem to be very happy with it. So I think it's probably a big success. E4 Gil is also like a tenth of a single teleport to Thrall. Maybe we'll be able to afford a vacation trip to Thrall one day. Hey, Quitchist! Hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Hope you enjoy your mount. Hey, Seraph! Hope you're doing well as well. Zilla says, I've also seen people who like Bosha and Eureka disliking OC. I mean, we also saw in Bosha people liking Eureka, hating Bosha. So, there's always a mix there. But I have seen people that either enjoyed or even criticized Occult Crescent South Horn, saying that North Horn is way better. So I think that it's a good thing. I joined the lizard talking about eating a lot of eggs. Why am I not surprised? I mean, what else would you... Like, what... Seraph, imagine you do a fate. They pay you handsomely and give you a grand prize of 84 gil. What would you spend it on? Eggs. Am I right? Eggs. Apparently that started a hype train. Wow. Thank you so much. Bimo says, my friend who complained that Bosha is now glazing it during OC. Yeah. I'm sure he'll glaze OC when the next field op comes out. Yep. Actually, I have a video on this topic. Called something like the content we hate together, or hate to do together, something like that. Which basically comments on the fact that when Eureka was current and required for relic weapon progression, A lot of people hated it. And then Shadowbringers came out. And then it wasn't required anymore. And then suddenly people were praising it. Weird that. And yeah, Bozja had the same thing. People didn't like it. Then Endwar comes out and suddenly it's great. Thank you, Erdl. And thank you so much for the cheers, Ilana. Absolute cinema. Essentially, a lot of the time, what causes people to be mad about it is that they feel like they have to do it to be, like, up to date. Some also just like to be, as was stated, contrarian. Some people will just be like, well, some people like it, so I'm just gonna be negative about it to counterbalance that for some reason. And also that, Brontome. A lot of the time we're better at remembering the good times. In those cases. For some reason, with stuff like that, it's easier to remember the good times than the bad times. I don't understand, because a lot of the time you're better at remembering the bad times, right? It's really weird. Hello? Game? Did I dash over the trigger? Hello? I'm too fast! Not like that one time in a couple of Mines Hard on Ninja when we did the speed run, where I had to restart the dungeon because I think I goofed up the trigger by going too fast. Fantastic. Ham says, I don't really like Croissant, but I feel like I would like it a bit more if there were less people around. I have a feeling that a lot of the most annoying parts about Croissant could probably be helped if it was more like a core audience that, you know, were a little bit more considerate and waiting for each other. Because like all of the fates, those fates that just fold like sand, well, fold like paper, I guess. If you walk up to the fate and know that it's just gonna go when you hit it, because that usually happens after critical engagement, then you could easily wait for everyone to arrive. And then just go, okay, everyone ready? Let's do it. And then you just smack it and you're done. But because you can't trust anyone to wait, you won't wait. It's just too many people running around. Fair enough. Hey Rob, hope you're doing well. Brontome says, I had a friend argue with me the other day WoW is better than 14 based on that WoW has better PvP, but he was explaining why WoW PvP was better 10 years ago and used that to equate modern Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? And that's also a classic, arguing, well, like arguing from the best position for the side you want to be on, and then arguing from the worst position for the opposition. Not a very fair comparison. I'll say Lollipop. Hope you're doing well. All I am Ryan Bells is the Egg song from The Land Before Time too. Aww. And the bad part about that perspective though, Ham, is that the amount of people you saw is the amount of people allowed. So even when it becomes less popular, I mean, there's still going to be 72 people per instance. Liking the stream makes you wild and pure and forever free. Nice reference, Ardell. That's a good one. Yeah. Punch! I liked Land Before Time. Just been so long. What? He survived my punch! How? Oh. Where is my fate? What do we do now, guys? Dang it. Rob says, is there a point of the relic grind? Is this a relevant on relic? Or can you explain that? This is just for glam. Just for visuals. There's no need for these. We're just doing it for fun. Just for something to do. Current content relics are... are a lot more meaningful. What do you mean by that, Sally? Memed me again? Huh? Perfect. Someone got the picture. I guess I will also start hopping around. Hey, Evis! Hope you're doing well. Oh. I will go to Zorvan and check. And before Ilya also went to Zorvan. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, pop. It's there! Hey! Woohoo! Run! And when I say run, I mean fly! Fly, you fools! Onward! Hey, Classified! Hope you're doing well. It's just that easy. It's a lot easier to just hop around when you know that you have friends who just also happen to be checking. My God, it's Seps! Hold? I don't know what it is with the mobs today and just ganking me when the moment I land, as if they think I won't just unsync and punch them. But yeah, essentially, Rob, it's just... now it's effectively just a little bit of a collect-a-thon. Just collect for the sake of it. And I will also say, if you do go out of your way to try and get a relic in a Realm Reborn while you are in a Realm Reborn, it's going to be a lot more work. I don't recommend it. I know some people have done it. I don't recommend it. It's a lot easier to just come back to it later. There. Right. Next book. I would like another book. I would like another fire book, please. Thank you. What fates do I need? Sorry, lives. Don't forget to cry. And the yellow is a new black. And the museum is closed. And fates, we have nothing here. We should check the fates first. Let's do North Shroud. Air supply! Here's Bob says, I will come back to it later, was my mantra when I first started playing. Now I'm a mentor and I'm still missing maybe 30 plus duties from the mentor list. Oh, air supply is actively going. Yeah. I mean, once you're there, Curious Pop, you have kind of a list. Kind of a list. If you don't even have the starting point of a duty unlocked, then it's not super helpful. You'll just see like a bunch of question marks, I believe. But, I mean, you'll have like a little bit of like a checklist, and a lot of people don't even bother to fill out that checklist. In fact, I know some people will be like, so focused on not getting specific duties for some reason. Hey, Miso Soup, hope you're doing well. Says, are you going for the kettles? No, I already have the kettles. You don't even need to do monk to get the kettles. You just need to finish one. We already have the kettles. We're just clearing all of them. Just a big old farm for the sake of having relics. As a retrial player, I want to do the old raid series, but I don't know if it's worth. I mean, if you want to do it as a challenge, let's just say that... Actually, first question, Rob Gero. Have you done Alexander? I can't remember if just fighting stuff progresses the objective here. So I'm just gonna try that. Hey. Next. Like, I don't know if people players care anymore, especially non-free trial players. Again, my question is, Rob Giver, have you done the Alexander raid series? The reason why I ask is because you might be looking at it going, well, Alexander was pretty manageable. I don't understand why Coils of Bahamut are not Q-popping at all, but I would like to do those. Why do people not care? The Coils of Bahamut is like way harder than Alexander. Basically, normal Alexander is a raid series that is made to be beaten, if that makes sense. A lot of content in Final Fantasy XIV is made to be beaten first. You could say all content is made to be beaten, but the difference is that when I say content is made to be beaten, is that something like Alexander is on normal is content that is made to be beaten in one sitting. Like, you're supposed to beat it in like 2 pulls, something like that. Savage Alexander is not made to be beaten in that sense. It will just kick you out and show you the door if you don't bring your A game. It will not let you win. If it has any say in the matter, it will not let you win. Coils of Bahamut is like that. Hey Nixie, hope you're doing well. So, if you want to do it, go for it, but be aware that you have to really, like, prepare yourself. This is going to be harder than extreme trials. And exactly, Tiende, because there was no savage difficulty in ARR. If I recall correctly, there's even something like... Wasn't the savage version of the 2nd tier in Coils of Bahamut, like, added late or something like that? And when was the second... when was the savage version of the 2nd raid tier added? I feel like I remember it's like at a weird time. Doink. Oh, 2014. I was hoping like a patch number. That's my bad. I should have been more specific. The Savage version was added an entire major patch later. .2 was normal, 2.3 was Savage. Which is weird, because it gives that weird impression of like, oh, it wasn't hard enough. we could do it, we could make it even worse for you. Seraph says, weirder still is Savage shared lockout with normal. Now that is weird, but not surprising. Now you might be wondering, why is that not surprising? Because A Realm Reborn was the days where Final Fantasy XIV was still copying WoW very heavily. And you know how WoW used to work? You can take a guess. Gel says, I believe it was added partly because some players whom experienced the previous ones wanting an actual difficult raid version. That is pretty far. Oh, right, because 1.0, right? I'm guessing that the nail fight from 1.0 was a lot harder than the A Realm Reborn version, so maybe that's it. Say, yo, hope you doing well. What's the latest extreme trial, and what weapon do you get from there? On last extreme was a collection. The newest extreme is NUO. The Unmaking. It drops at 785? 785 weapons. How do you feel about the new raid difficulty being just below extreme? I guess I can see it because I'm pretty sure that they view Extreme as like the stepping stone before Savage. Legend says he also drops wings. One day. Saying this is, I wonder what's the completion rate on extremes. They show the normal and savage rate clear rate at FanFest, but I don't remember them giving the extreme one. I'm going to guess that it is high enough that they didn't really see it as an issue to bring up. Exists slightly related to the stream. I'm only close to finishing main Shadowbringers besides anime weapon mats and the chunky music rolls. What else is a good poetic stump? It's a good question. That is a good question. If you want money, one thing you can do is buy Thanalan, buy topsoil. Back when I bothered to do that, I bought Thanalan topsoil. I've been told since that the meta has changed and a different topsoil is the one you want. But those can be traded for money, like through market board. An alternative is to just buy like Poetics shields and stuff, and then just trade them to your Grand Company for seals, and then you can buy something there to sell. It's totally unrelated. You know how people have to wait for the critical engagement in Croissant to start? Yeah, I do. For some reason on JP, players tend to wait at the edge, and a single or two players with a legend title wait in the center. Like they're like making like some sort of like make-up boss arena where the legends are the bosses. That's really funny. Only the Realm Reborn relics don't have a poetic stump. I think they do. It's been so long. Currently, the things that I know, like, there's a bunch of things, but they're kind of like awkward. Each book in the book step costs 100. I believe each step in the final light part costs 50. I can't remember if any of the materials you need costs poetics. It's been so long since I collected them all. However, if you need a poetic stump, do a Heavensward relic. You're gonna need, like, if you want all of them, you're gonna need, like, easily 200,000 poetics. I would know. I just remembered that I could clean out mobs in the zone while I'm waiting for that timer. That was nerfed, wasn't it? I do believe so, yes, Bimo. But I believe part of what was nerfed is that they actually made it possible to get the items through multiple different means. Like, some of the things you buy for seals or poetics were, like, craft only, originally. But it was so hard to do that in Heavensward they nerfed it. I can't remember the like all the details, but I do feel like I remember also reading that they nerfed it while it was currently the newest step or something like that, or close to, because it was so hard. Or so grindy, rather, right? Not exactly hard, just you had to farm. And then there's a whole conversation about, is it difficult to farm? It says it's difficult on my nerves. The spy network strikes again. Thank you, guys. Oh, right, they alternate. Yeah, I think if you're looking for something to spend your poetics on, the best you can do, if you have any interest in it whatsoever, is start on Heavensward Relics. Just finish one, so that you have all of the steps unlocked. Then you can easily invest over 100,000 poetics into it without having wasted any. Which is insane, but yeah. That's just how it works. And I'm not even finished. You see all that stuff I have? I'm not finished. Like, I'm still like 20 short on each of these things and 10 short on these. Insane. Hey, random. Hope you're doing well. I don't have the warrior relic from Heavensward. Not yet. Are you getting Grand Company seals regularly? To do what with? I buy ventures with that. There was a brief period where I would where I would specifically farm a little bit of Alexander stuff to get some of those unidentified thingies. The things I hovered are for poetics. These 4 are for poetics. I have completely finished ages ago every Grand Company Seal thing I need for relics, because you can get a ton. I specifically just did like a bunch of runs of one of the Alexander raids unsynced, and then after a set I would turn it into unidentified thingies and then use all of the materials or all of the like tokens to buy gear, and then turn those gear pieces into seals. And then I would like progress super fast on that. Just because I felt like it. Like I could really use like possibly in a couple years, guys, in a few years, I might need a new company seal like resource dump, because I have like less than 10,000 ventures left to buy. Because that's back when I was gathering all the Poetics items. Wondrous Tales helped a lot. Yeah, I do that every week. Even when I... Okay, sorry. Even when I was at FanFest, I did manage to get that Wondrous Tales done that week. Because those Poetics, man. I mean, I did it before or after. And thankfully, Wondrous Tales gives you like an extra week of leeway. By the way, I'm just now realizing, I'm probably a little bit late on that, but that Twitch would like a quick ad period. So I hope not too many of you get sucked into the black hole. But we'll be right back if you do, and we'll be right here, and you won't miss much of anything. You'll probably miss this extremely exciting live quest I'm about to do. Hey, Battle Goose. Hope you're doing well. I just wish someday they would do a weapon with like different glow that depends on your phase as Blue Mage. When Astral Fire is glowing like fire and Umbral Eyes is blue. That would be cool, but I don't think any weapon has ever had something like that. It would be cool. No worries, Gazzle. Enjoy your phantom weapon grind. Yeah, this farm was never about rushing it. It's just gradual progression. There's also that, as Asymmetricon says, if they did that, then that would kind of lock them into having to make the job in that specific way. Which maybe they would do anyway. There's also the possibility if they did that, Asymmetricon, that they would just go, well, we changed the job now, so we've just made it so that it does this thing instead. It would be cool, but understand why they don't. Human says, I do wonder without tombstones in Evercold how the relic grind will be. I do wonder that too. I'm going to guess. That maybe Poetics don't go away. I'm just that's where I'm gonna put my money. My bet goes Poetics stays. Because if Poetics stay, then they don't have to worry about how you buy all the things in Realm of Dawn, or Heavensward, or Shadowbringers, or Endwalker, or Dawntrail. All of that just works. I like to imagine also that the true reason why they're going away from tombstones is because they're running out of names for them. Thoughts? They should just at some point had got like just made it so like they should have done the Apple iPad thing. They just have a new tombstones and old tombstones. creeping mendacity. Just going through all the names again, but now they're stone tomes. And they look like books, but they're made of stone. Just to really sell it. Quantum says, I think we even will keep new tombstones too. It'll just be a different name. Tomen stones. Brave flocks, long stop. Boop. And punch. Oh, sorry. Kick. I meant kick. Le bap. A new Lalafell-based currency, gnome stones. That's pretty funny, though. And Jeff Matt, hope you're doing well. Manatee. Hey Cat, hope you're doing well. Magical punch. The magical part is that it's actually a kick. It's actually a distraction technique. I say magical punch, and then you expect it to be a punch, and then it's actually a kick. You're like, but what? It's like, well, it's because my magic requires me to announce the attack, so I thought a genius idea would to just name the attack something misleading. Now, get ready for my fireball. Just throws like a snowball. Actually, not a snowball. You snow like you throw like a cube of snow. You see this hand? You see this hand? You should have been watching this foot. Hey, broski. I used my magic to make my foot look like a kick. Another door. Well, the next area in the dungeon is so scary that you need to hide it behind 2 gates. I cast fireball. Snow's throw. I did it again. You know what? Snow throws pyramid. I cast fireball, I summon Jon Snow, and he throws a pyramid at you. There you go. Don't ask any questions. It just works. I believe this is it. Yep. Oh, Ilya's here. Fantastic. Oh. I'm being defeated by the latency that binds me. Rage cleaves! I don't think these guys are sending enough dudes. They're just getting shoved back. It's a little strange. I was synced down for all that time. Mow the puller! If Rage cleaves, why does Fell cleave not cleave? You know, Asymmetricon, I have a feeling that maybe Fell Cleave will cleave in Evercold. Like, it's just an idea I have. Hey, Shaq! Hope you're doing well. What does he pull, though? I guess he pulls Warriors of Light. He was running headfirst into battle. Maybe he's the tank. You will be scooped by the boop that whoops you. I'm a fire immolator. Anything to make warriors AoEs not feel like a wet noodle? Oh man. It is weird that Chaotic Cyclone is like 20 potency more than Decimate. It's really, really weird. Oh, you got pulled to help your friend? Bad news, you're also on the menu. Nice, Agent Monica! Soon, you will have big relic weapon. To do the big damage number. Hello? Anybody in here? It went through like 5 potency nerfs. You know, the bad news, BMO, is that the Chaotic Cyclone went from 300 to 200 in a single patch. It actually was so massive that I remember checking the Warriors section on the balance, and they were actually mourning for once. Usually, nothing even as much as phases them. They're just like, well, I mean, we still have Fell Cleave, so... That day was a sad day for the Warriors. Like that actually got to them. Natalan, 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 Natalan. But it is insane that it was just one single patch nerfed Chaotic Cyclone by 1/3. Just all at once. That's what pushed you to Paladin? Oh. I mean, I believe at that specific time when that was happening, I had already decided to play Black Mage in the raid team. But I was warrior in the first raid tier. But now that I think on that, for the most part in Savage raids, I've often just played what I think is easiest, while still enjoyable for me. And in the first raid tier, I felt that warrior was the easiest. And for the second tier, I just wanted to play Black Mage. Which then turned out to be the easiest. And now I'm playing Paladin. I feel like it's the easiest tank. And just to be fair, I called dips on Paladin for the first year. I'm pretty sure I was already playing Warrior. So you didn't have to worry about that. Easiest and most versatile, yep. And then you also get to use swords and shields, which I also think is awesome. However, now with the next expansion, you will have the option to wield 2 shields. That's gonna be difficult to beat. Yeah, 2 shields and 2 guns. The machinist stonks are also in shambles. As Magicon says, how about 3 shields? I feel like we're going down this sort of a Tryndamere path. I remember seeing this image from way back in the day of a Tryndamere from League of Legends with an infinity edge in each hand. And an infinity edge, like, strapped to his head. And an infinity edge strapped to each of his knees. Hey, Graham. No, be doing well. Actually, they're called Skildborgs. That's true. But a shield... What is a Skildborg but a gun with a shield on it? Or a shield with a gun on it? Huh? But this, ha! Skildborg was such a fun name to hear being Scandinavian, right? Skildborg! Sounds like some sort of cyborg. Where the archers at? Oh, there's one. Hello. Give me your lunch money. Why is that, Bronto? Hey, Jonathan. Hope you're doing well. That's turtle. Ah. Shield turtle. Is skild a shield in a Scandinavian language? All I know is it's close to Danish, but that would be skjold. Skjoldborg. These are shield mountains. Ah, right. in the mountain. Shield turtle isn't at the bottom stone vigil hard? Hmm. Brontom is what is it like? Which Scandinavian language are those words matching? Because for me, I can definitely see that it's close. Like Shield Mountain in Danish would be Skjoldbjerg. So I'm guessing there's a Scandinavian language that is closer, because I believe Danish is typically the furthest away. Because we just be like that. Similar, but not technically the same. Okay, so it is like... Am I correct in saying it's... We take like the Norse or one of the Scandinavian words for it, and then we just like squeeze it a little bit, and there you go. It's like that. Yami says, even in Dutch, it's close. Schildberg. Hmm. Half of Europe just going, I know this one! As they get revealed that it is Schildborg. Take one Scandinavian word and mix in some German. I mean, that sounds pretty accurate. I mean, I feel like the West does something in the opposite direction. How do we make something sound like real cool and anime? So you take a Japanese word, or you take a Japanese sounding word, and then you just squeeze a little bit, weird it up a little bit, and there you go. There you go. Now you have this super legendary weapon. It's perfect. Ow. Don't stab me. Ow. Ow. It's the standard fake fantasy word formula. Yeah, exactly. Just mix and match languages. But it's particularly funny because I have heard tell that just like how we in the West have this thing with like Japanese words and stuff like that, a large part of Japan has like a similar infatuation with German words. That they just sound cool. That is the reason why Attack on Titan has so many German names. And why the theme has German in it. And wait, what? Can we blame them? I mean, we're doing the same thing, just... Oop. That is mildly concerning, Crab Galaxy, but fair enough. By the power of sauerkraut. I have the power! Nagelfar. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of zone names that were revealed. Like the zone names that were revealed were like, yeah, it's possibly something Norse mythology or Scandinavian in some way. But it's I feel like it's really hard to miss with like Norse or Scandinavian stuff, because I can at least speak for Denmark that we're usually just excited that someone remembered that we exist. I would have thought it would be the funniest thing in the world if they had been like, oh yeah, the new job, it's called Bastion, its weapons are called Skjoldbjerg. Like, dead laughing if that was the case. And I would have loved it. Says, I'm reminded Denmark exists every time I eat my favorite pastry. You know, the funniest part about that is that they're not Danish. Apparently, the story there is that technically they're not Danish. It's just that those parts of the world were introduced to it by Danes. By random, like, coincidence. A lot of things are like that in the world. Like, you can apparently see on a map, if you see, like, what a country calls a different country, often coincides with the context in which they made first contact. So a country might have like a really old name for a country, and that's the name they use, and then like a more like one that had a more recent run-in with the country uses the more recent name for it if it changed and things like that. And the context is, well, they changed name for some reason or another. How would you say, if you enjoyed the stream, consider leaving a like in cool Danish by pure curiosity. Og hvis du godt kan lide streamen, så skulle du overveje at efterlade et like. Tak som byder. That's correct, Gazel. That's because we don't have a word for that, or we don't use a substitution word for that in Danish. We literally call them likes. We also say views. Hey Lambda, hope you're doing well. Where was it you were from again, Crusher? Cool Danish is just Danish but wearing sunglasses. Can you understand written German? I can understand a surprising amount of German, at least based on just guessing what a word means. I'm guessing from that I do believe you have mentioned it, Crusher. I just forgot. You can speak Swedish. Danish is kind of like Swedish and difficult for me. That sounds about right. The funny thing is that most Scandinavians, like, we might have this whole thing with, oh, but we can understand each other, you see. It's like, yeah, but like, let's not kid ourselves here. If we run into each other and go like, wait a minute, you speak Scandinavian, then you probably also speak English. So let's just take it in English instead. It's just easier that way. Aziz, hope you're doing well. Hey, Floral Buns, hope you're doing well as well. But there's also the part that spoken Danish is really mean because we don't say like half of the words. Okay, I guess it's nothing new with like spoken languages versus like written. But it's like extreme cursive. Like extreme cursive is the way we speak it. If that makes any sense. Just hey Days, hope you're doing well. Like when you learn a language to know the cool stuff that's said in, say, anime, and it instantly becomes uncool because you now understand. Yeah! Yes, true! Very true. And they're like, wait a minute. It's not very cool, actually. Pale Ablation, put your stomp on it, and the Bloodhounds of Kurthus. And let's see, Fate. Alex is talking about Danish always excites me. I need to actually put my money where my mouth is and take a proper class. That's the spirit. Then you can talk with people that already probably could talk with you because they can definitely speak English. But if you think the language is cool, then don't let that stop you. Say, Bosley, hope you're doing well. A nice streak. Non-English natives also have that when you learn English more and understand childhood songs. Indeed. Taken. So thank you for the sub, CJ Record. Rolbun says, I wish I'd learned Danish as a child, TBH. My grandmother and grandfather were never very good at English, so my mother always had to play translator when we visited them. Oh, really? Where are you generally from, Floribunds? I grew up in England, but my mom's Danish. Oh. Interesting. I have a close friend that is exactly like that too. However, he lives in Denmark and he speaks Danish. We did a lot of school projects together. It was pretty funny. If you were in group with him, he was extremely diligent, but you had to correct his writing. Just for good measure. Sometimes it was perfectly fine. Now you live in Sweden. Well, there you go. There you go. I believe the Tower of Power of that one is this one down here. Ardell says everyone left me dead on the floor after the OC fate ended. Have you shouted for a rest? That's really mean. Man, why would someone do that? Just leave an elf dead? Punch. Yep, and I guessed right. Thank you, Ilya. Let's just do the mob kills in the area while we're here. Jesus, I remember dying in Pegos and begging for to be raised. I timed out, leveled down, and rage quit the game for almost a year. Oh. Man. It's the worst when that happens. Laban says, when I was studying Swedish, I did one of my assignments on the differences between the Scandinavian languages, and researching for it was quite fascinating. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I believe the weird like origin story of why Danish sounds so different from the rest is that there was like this sort of like weird movement that happened in like West Denmark that then just blasted over the rest of the country. And it then didn't reach the rest of Scandinavia. I don't know much about it, but that's as far as I understood why it's so different. I don't think of this often either, but English is also a Scandinavian language. I guess so? Guess so. Carter says, I grew up in the very north of Germany, and everyone loves Denmark and Sweden. There, hearing you speak Danish always reminds me of that. Why do they love Denmark and Sweden? It's because we come down and abuse money. Probably something like that, Seraph. Like, looking at the words in English, I feel like there is a little bit of a joke, at least in Denmark, about how Dutch seems like a mishmash of various other languages. But if there ever was a language that is just a mishmash of other languages, I feel like it would be English. And there's so many words where it's like, well, why is the word that? Well, it's because, you know, from French and... Oh, but how about that word? Well, that's actually because Danish. And how about that word? Well, they took that from this other language. That's actually German or whatever. Like, you just go down the list. There's not very often where it feels like the word is like, oh, but that's because Britain. Not that that is, like, that's not exactly a, like... It's not meant to be, like, something mean about it. It's just something that I feel like I've noticed that it happens a lot. Galaxy says England got invaded a lot. Yeah, especially by Vikings, I feel. But I would also say, while we are on that topic, if there ever was a language that would be a pretty solid one to be the one that we're all speaking, like the one that we all have in common, would be the one that is a mishmash of a little bit of everything, right? A lot of the signs around shopping centers are in Danish too, so it's probably the money. But I feel like Scandinavian countries are in general very respected in Germany. That's good. We also like Germans. English words are invading other languages recently. Ah, yes. Welcome to the internet. Do you need some likes? I feel like it's not uncommon that, like for instance, as you said, Crusher, with North Germany, if you have people from a specific other country that visit a lot, then like just for convenience, it's pretty common to, you know, just address that too. Like, let's just say that, I don't know what the word for it is, but it isn't unusual to see written translations for things. Like you will see Danish, English, and then what do you call, like, I don't know, what is the name for the for what they write? I think it's very common in the Middle East, that they write that almost looks like extremely strong cursive text. I don't know what the word is for it. But it's very often to see that also. Arabian? Arabic? Yes, probably that. I'll say how's now. Hope you're doing well. And that's of course because there are a lot of people that have moved to Denmark as a result of gestures broadly at the world. Hey, Bisk, hope you're doing well. Move to Denmark so they can step on many Legos. Oof. Hey, Kitsora, hope you're doing well. Just out of curiosity, what size and resolution monitor do you use? think they're like 28-inch monitors. But the monitor that you're looking at right here is technically a monitor that is capable of running 4K 120 FPS. I used to run that. Turns out that that is like, and I have like a pretty beastly GPU and like CPU, at least now that has gotten better things. But like a couple years ago, when I got the monitor and the PC and everything, like it was pretty beastly at the time, and I say it's still pretty strong. It's not a good idea to be streaming and doing other things and also run 120 FPS 4K with this setup. So I'm running it at 1440p and 144 FPS. It got see. Hope you're doing well. Using add-on to track Relic grind, or is that something in the game? Haven't done it since Realm Reborn, but I remember I didn't have that window. It's not an add-on. I don't use any plugins. And this has always been in the game. This is a book. It's a specific step. If you don't remember it, it's because you don't remember it. But I do not have any I don't have any mods or plugins. Hey Shadow Boy, hope you're doing well. This is Wings of Ruin. It's the mount from the first Extreme in Dawntrail. Also, as Cat says, if it was an add-on or a plugin or something, it would have been way better than that. It would not need me to open it every time I switch zones. It would just be there. It would just tell me if the thing was there, I'm sure. Z says, I saw someone else with a tell that showed when it was okay to slide cast, which they added that. I mean, there are tricks to tell you. If you start casting something and you have an emote on your hotbars, emotes will light up when slide casting is available. Or rather, when slide casting has started. So many pages to loot. But yeah, I do not use any plugins or anything. So what you see is what you get in a way. It's not like you, as a console player, open Final Fantasy XIV and you can't make your game look like mine. I mean, there might be some graphical limitations on that, but I think a PS5 should be able to do most of it. Southern Thanalan. Oh, that's the one. Yeah, exactly, can't see. It's also not a particularly memorable thing, is it? They're just running straight into the meat grinder. Leave! And that's what I thought. Battle Drake. Need archers. Like one over there. Nope. That's not an archer, guys. That's not a bow. It's not their profession. This, however, that's a bow. That guy was a bard. Man. It's a new survival strategy. It just become a different job. Any archers? Any archers? Hello? Archers? Might be a bow guy, probably scavenged it from the last person doing Relic grind. Echo Dance is the hardest part of Final Fantasy XIV is figuring out the difference between two Amalja holding the same weapon but different jobs. They're the same picture. Getting a house is harder in 14 than in real life, but changing your job is harder in real life than in 14. I will say, in 14 at least it's just a lottery, but you should be able to afford one. Which is somehow more cursed when you think about it. Getting houses? My story of me getting my large house in 14... Actually, every house I've gotten in 14 has been me, like using a trick in some form or another. My first house was because, like, someone had, like, the house had just been demolished and my free company happened to live right next to it. So we saw it first. And bought it before anyone else could get it. My second house was when a new ward opened and I just bought the one next to the FC I was in at that time. And then my large, I scoped out every large that was in my price range and my interest range. And then I found the one with the least competition. So while everyone else were like 5, 6, 10, 20 people betting for the same large, I was competing with one person, 50% chance, and I got it. FFXIV, no be do will, being a simple level 47 guy with a bow, and suddenly, out of clear blue sky, dropping down a level 100 monstrosity killing me. That triggers my PTSD from the WoW PvP vanilla days. Yeah, You take 2 steps into Stranglethorn Vale and you die. The classic. E4! Hope you're doing well. That is unfortunately the life of a low-level mob that is part of a quest. Ah, a beautiful day. I should go hunting. What is that? Is it a bird? It's a really big bird. It's a really weird bird. It has fists. Oh god! Ah, what a good day for... Why do I hear boss music? Your destiny calls. You're gonna be part of a quest. Oh no! I feel like birds with fists wouldn't be a weird sight in this world. Probably not. Only the first time. Still not. The moment you realize you're not the person on the quest, but the objective. Sadly for you, at least I have my day off when the maniacs put a quest on us. Ah. Now, that's a smart move. The unfortunate reality is that once the quest is out, you might have to just quit. How many completed IAR relics do you have? The ninja one, the paladin one, the black mage one. And then I have every other relic remaining. I just have at the book step. And then the warrior one is on the light step that follows a bit later. And I'm trying to get... I'm trying to get everyone past the book step, and then we will just rush through light steps and everything. I also have the teapot, but does that count? Why are these quest-related jokes reminding me one-to-one of work-related scenarios? You take a day off and you hear from your co-workers, oh man, we had this terrible task we had to deal with. We basically got headhunted to do this thing. Feels like getting ganked by a high level in an MMO, doesn't it? Can you one-tap if freed EX on all of 100 AR jobs? No, you cannot. Not on all of them. That is why my guide suggests different options. It's because some jobs straight up can't. And so different things might be more effective for you depending on what kind of damage you can do. Kind of shape your damage is and things like that. That's also the key problem, Jeff. The reason why it isn't possible is because basically all level 100 AR jobs can one-shot Ifrit Extreme. But not while wielding that. Hello, IQ. Hope you're doing well. Says I one-shot Ifrit as Bard and Warrior with that weapon. Have you done it as Scholar? I would also say, because level 100, it has definitely become easier. Both because more levels, more power. And also because... a lot of jobs got like a big smacker at level 100. Like got a big attack. Like even Astrologian has one now. That they can just thwack Ifrit with. I don't know if it's enough, but they have a big something. But Scholar does not. Scholar just doesn't. Thank you, Ilya. We need to give Eos a gun. For Scholar and Summoner, every step is a book step. Aha. Yeah, indeed, the big attacks are very satisfying. Indeed. I'm so far away. There's a few options there, Floral Buns. One option is Ifrit. Another option that I found helpful for Paladin was King Mogglemog. Because King Mogglemog, you can like it takes a little more than like. But if you're lucky, he's also almost instant. If you're unlucky, he just takes a few more seconds. Whereas Ifrit like holds you there for like a full minute, you might as well just leave and try again. Another option is that Bahamut apparently can lock himself into like a sequence long enough that something like Scholar can do it pretty fast. Because you just need a few seconds to do a few attacks. I've specifically heard that Bahamut is a strategy for Scholars. The reason why I don't suggest anything with Auroran Veil is because, as I've said on previous streams like this, there is this daily limit of 100 dungeons. And if you do 100, if you hit that limit of 100 dungeons, then you're locked out of doing trials or raids or anything until the daily grind is over. Or rather, until the daily, like the daily reset is over. But if you do 100 of anything other than dungeons, you will not get locked out. So you don't want to do that. Especially not if you're farming a bunch of things. So I specifically avoided that when I was grinding for the speedrun. Because I knew that that was something that could, like, gridlock, so I couldn't finish. That's a really awkward timing. Now there's not enough dogs. Oh, that really matters for Astrologian. Oracle can one-shot if freed with an item level 90 weapon. And that is true because it is a Heaven Sword job. It doesn't really need it. I'll say Red Master. Wonder how long it would take to hit 100 dungeons. Depends on what you're doing, of course. As we kind of determined, like I can't remember if it was the stream 2 weeks ago or like 4 weeks ago. But we had a talk about that of I can't remember. Was it spamming MSQ roulette or something? I can't remember what the reason was. But spamming dungeons in a way that you actually might spam. Is it just dungeons or all duties? I said dungeons, BMO. I actually even mentioned everything else to clarify. I mean dungeons, only dungeons. If we do 100 4-man dungeons in a day, then the duty finder will block you from doing anything until the next daily reset. And the reason is something related to bots farming that they wanted to prevent. And admittedly, to get 100 dungeons done in a day, well, you would need something like 4 or 5 dungeons done per hour. And that's no sleep, no eating. Or actually you have to do it while you do it. Like while you're farming them. Something like that. Which means under normal circumstances, you will never hit this cap. Ever. It only becomes a problem when you're farming in some unexpected way. For instance, if you try to speedrun a relic weapon. Crab Galaxy says, I think it was Renon that ran into that cap when trying to do an AR relic in 24 hours. Correct! And I read about that and I was like, Renon should know better than that, surely. Come on. So someone could hypothetically get really unlucky at farming Leviathan Extreme and then not get their hands smacked for doing it over 100 times. Really confusing double, triple negative Echo Dance. You can do Leviathan Extreme 500 times in a day if you wanted to. But yeah, exactly, Quitchies. That's what I mean, is that the only way for you to run into this problem is if you're spamming something in an unusual way. Something something that the game is not generally expecting you to do. Like, for instance, spamming like 4-man A Realm of Bond dungeons in under 5 minutes. You will quickly run into a cap, and that is exactly the reason why I'm like, don't do Aurum Veil for your light step. Something Blue Mage spell farming. Just do it synced. Then there is no RNG involved anymore. But yeah, I did hear about Renon doing that. I'm like, I thought it was common knowledge that, and like at that point, I genuinely thought it was common knowledge that there was a 100 duty cap And then since then, I discovered, like a little bit later, or around then, I think, that no, actually it's a 100 dungeon cap. I'm like, can't remember the exact sequence of things, but I do remember hearing about Renom's situation and thinking, why did you do it with Aurum Vale? that was not how you should have done it. Did you not do your homework? Which is the reason why I did Ifrit when I did my speedrun. Which was technically we did all of the like currency farming off stream. And then the grind itself took 9 hours. Young Kai was so optimistic about what people know. Yeah, I guess. It is funny because some of those things, like, is something I smack my face into when I'm making videos on things. It's like, I then learn that something that I took for granted that everyone knows is like, no! What are you talking about? Random says, I like to imagine it's not an anti-botting measure, but rather Square asking you to take a break. Maybe. Although, as I said, due to the way 14 works, you would, under normal circumstances, like under normal play, you would not run into this problem. Like that, oh, there's the limit. You would not run into that. You straight up wouldn't. Anyway, I'll be right back, and then we will keep going. In the meantime, sanity restored. Alright, I'm back. It's Italy! Oh, manatee of the void, grant me your wisdom. The void. It's actually decent temperature today here. Decent. Could definitely be colder, no problem. But it is a lot more manageable than yesterday. Demo says, speaking of anti-botting, I really hope they remove the silly 40-minute fishing limit on each hole. I feel like I've heard about this. So what does that mean? It means that you have to go right. It's presented as the fish have gotten wise to your presence or something like that, right? I will say I think it's a reasonable restriction. But I do understand the annoyance with it. God, it's friggin' minus! They're all working together! Bedmaster says the only ones that I'm curious about on if would count on the 100 dungeons would be those odd for 4-man trials. They do not count. However, if you wanted to test it, I do believe that Ifrit normal takes about 10 seconds per go, including loading screens if you have a decently fast PC. Like per quick adventure, about 10 seconds, I'd say, 10 to 15 seconds. Which I tested back in Endwalker when I made a video about the most time-consuming achievements. And I then estimated how long Lifer 3 would take. By the way, I got Lifer 3 somewhat recently. Just from playing the game. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, it does help a lot with a like over on the YouTube side of things. You know, help fight the algorithm. So thank you so much in advance. QHG says I got Garuda Extreme down to a 3-second clear farming for Nightmare. Oh, remember, QHG, how long did you spend in between fights with Garuda herself? The timer said 3 seconds. Then you have to wait for it to go black screen. Now you can see again. Leave the duty. Black screen. Now you can see again. Queue in. Black screen. Now you can see again. The circle goes down. And now the timer starts. How long did all of that take? Took longer to load than in the... Yeah. When I was doing the light farm on Ifrit, I believe something similar happened. That we spammed it so fast that while I was doing the next... I think it was something like as I was doing the next thing over, it was still spamming. With the messages. Hey Jet, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much. I think with this pace we might get almost another book done. You were until Monster Hunter crashed you? What do you mean? Did your game crash? Oh, crashed on you. Dang it. Oh. How many books left on Monk? This one and 2 more, I believe. Yes, this one and 2 more. I might just find time to finish what's left or something. Not sure. Thank God! I do think that the quote-unquote book step for the Dawntrail relic is more reasonable, Queer Juice, but I get what where you're coming from. But the Dawntrail one, just for those that don't know, is that they just ask you to do 5 fates in a zone. Because some of the fates that you have to do for the book step in A Realm Reborn are like just... Like, how do I put it? I would say that it would be a lot cooler if they were like... They showed like 5, 6, or maybe like 8 fates or something like that. Like maybe 2 or 3 ones per zone. I was like, you have to do 1 of these. But I also recognize that with the amount of options, that would just mean that you would have like even more overlap. Like, we already have enough that, like, when someone asked recently, like, why can't you just, like, can you, or slash, why can't you just pick up multiple books at once? Where part of the logic is, if you could do that, then there's, like, 2 or 3 books that ask you to do Hawk Manor. Yadoken! Yeah, I agree, Flawlbun, that part of what makes it really annoying is that you need a specific fate. Crab Galaxy said the same thing as well, I think. Let's see... Netherfire. Give me that. Yeah, Surprise is definitely the worst one in the bunch. So looking at the time, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna act like the live quests here, like we just don't do those, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the lives that I have here to, or those 3 live quests to shuffle so that I can collect more live quests to like queue up, so that we don't have to pick up live quests in the middle of a stream. Really smart planning on my part, I'd say. But that does mean that I have to focus on these fates and everything else. Return to Cinder. I feel like I remember Return to Cinder being like there. Not sure. Oh, Taken is back. Well, here you go. I believe another notch on the torch is up there. Can't this dungeon design philosophy really shows its flaws when you're doing 13 back to back? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. The fact that all of the Dawntrail dungeons are very, very similarly structured really stands out when you do them back to back to back to back to back. I totally get that. Oh, right, it's not here, it's over there. I don't know what I'm doing. There will also be a point in these book steps where I don't have to do these quests anymore, because I'm like... I believe I'm one set of quest step ahead. So I have to do the quest step one last time. But I'll still do them in the special quest step order. Because I'm grabbing the live quests in that order. Might not be optimal. There are actually a few live quests that you need for the book step that reappear, which means that you might be in a situation where you can't pick up the live in advance because you already have it. Nicodan says, I hope Evercult decides to have some fun with dungeon design. Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Did we have anything in East Shroud? We do. We go there. Difficulty curve is also weird with dungeon difficulty peaking Origenics. Then it's 8 dungeons you're massively overgeared for. I will say that's just classic 14 problem. I'm not saying that makes it better. Speaking of which, everything's better. But I will say that that's a problem that is always there, because the leveling dungeons, for those, your gear like gradually follows the difficulty curve, or rather the power curve as you level up. And then you hit max level, and then every dungeon is like, technically it's sinking you down, but you're supposed to like not be fully synced down. Like you're supposed to like still be able to outgear it a little bit, which results in exactly the problem that we run into, that Origenics is way harder than, I would say, Alexandria. Finally, it'll be fixed in Evercold. I don't think it's something you really can, like, that you can fix very easily. Because the only way to fix it, quote unquote, is by enabling players to like... Well, actually, fixing it would be going like by making the syncing even stricter. And then you're essentially running into the problem that the dungeon will be in a situation where even when the content is current, you're not allowed to use your current gear, it feels like. Unless what you mean is they just need to make it harder so that it's even harder when you're not synced down. That could be a solution. That might also make things a lot harder. I don't know if that's what they want. I guess there is a solution, but it is definitely awkward. And I don't think the solution is to go, well, Origenics is clearly too hard. People seem to struggle with the first boss in Origenics. That is weird. I'm just saying, I don't know what the solution is, because it does feel like when you're trying to fix it as a designer, you get stuck in this position of if you make it any tighter, then you're basically making gear more irrelevant. Which does not seem like what they want right now, with the whole like gearing treadmill being freshed up with Evercold and things like that. Roger says, somehow I always meet the tanks who don't know what mitigation is in Origenics. Weird, I always meet them in Vanguard. Maybe that's the real problem. So thank you, Ilya. I completely missed it in my search for the screeches. They make some time. I had a physics spamming scholar in Origenics. Very cool. By which, not very cool, of course. Better than a physics summoner. I feel like a summoner spamming physic in Origenics would probably be told that they are not attacking. Alright, time to look for orators. Lalas? I guess. What if they spammed sleep? And so, yeah, then they need to completely rethink 14 dungeon purpose if it's gonna be fixed. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Apparently, Echo Dance, I was told that probably part of the reason why you run into a lot of worse players in Vanguard is because people go in to get the glam. So there could be an overlap there. Commonly, the first dungeon of every expansion, at least since Shadowbringers, I would say, is significantly harder. Partly because people don't have their things yet. And it's like essentially it's a little bit tighter on the gear in a weird way. It's just harder. I think the biggest difference is that if you like, let's say that you went through all of the dungeons then the caps, like all of the dungeons at the max level, would be a lot easier, which might make you like chill out a little bit. And then you go to like then you hit Shadowbringers, and then you get Hallminster Switch, and then you're reminded that dungeons can be hard. And then you get to max level again, like you get to Shadowbringers max level, and you hang out there for a bit, and you hit Endwalker, and then you go into Tower of Zod. You don't see it with the Yukutumu? I feel like I saw people have trouble with the Yukutumu. Mostly just the damage difference from dealing with what's it called? Lunar Subterrane, yeah. Cat says, my tank in Origenics almost died on the first pull from not mitigating. Then he apologized for having bad gear. Ah, yes. The wrong lesson. No mitigation tanks trying to do Mount Gold gigapulls at a time. Yeah, exactly. The problem with those kinds of tanks is that they just do what they saw the other tank do. The problem is, what did they see? They saw what the tank pulled, not how they did it. Not how they got away with it. Hey, yeah, Scott. No be doing well. Yeah, we're working on a monk relic. But we're mainly working on the book step here. When we finish the book step, we'll probably do a book step on a different job. We're basically doing book steps this stream. What do you mean use my invuln? I need that for the boss. I need to save all of my mitigation for the boss. So many weird tanks and healers, and actually also DPS. Like, I'm just saying, I need to save all of my mitigation for the boss tanks are weird, but rare. I feel like the more common one is the DPS going, but I need to save my damage cooldowns for the boss. That's the real danger here. And it's like, I mean, the boss doesn't have a harden rate. However, when you pull really big, the mobs kind of have a self-imposed harden rage because your tank and your healer might actually run out of things. But do whatever you want. Redmaster with the, if I have to use mitigation, then the healer isn't doing their job. That is, I have run into that one. I think I've actually told about that one. The terrible tank that I ran into in Bottom's Metal that argued that they didn't need to use mitigation because I, the healer, was attacking. So clearly I didn't need the help. Like, it takes you one button press to take way less damage. Takes me a lot more effort to spam heal you through it because you can't be bothered to press one single button. Z says, it's always funny when they press every single cooldown when asked. At least they tried. Yeah, although I have seen that one enough times that I'm like, you need to save some for later. You can't just use all of it and think that's good. But it is nice when they at least try. But I'm not saying that there's a problem with it. I'm just saying that I've seen that one so many times that it's just like I'm not even phased. It's just, oh, okay, you're that. Like, that's where we are. Next step. In the same way that the first 5 times that I beat Ramu Extreme with randoms in Mentor Roulette, I was like, yeah, we did it. Now I'm like, I get Ramu Extreme and I just zone in like some, like, oh boy, will the tanks know how to tank switch this time? Or is, like, where we're starting? And that's just how it goes. At some point, you will have just seen it enough times that, like, it's not impressive. Or, like, you've basically just seen it. A Flameforged, hope you're doing well, says, is your Viper guide from about a year ago still applicable now? Just unlocked the class and want to run it in Dawntrail after I leveled it. My 7.2 Viper guide is up to date, yes. If you find the newest guide I have for every job, either it is up to date completely, or if there's some weird outlier, check the pinned comment. There is either patch notes explaining what the problem is, like what you need to do differently, or there's a link to a newer guide. My Viper guide from 7.2 is up to date though. I think the one that is a little weird is my Dragoon guide, because my Dragoon guide from 7.05 has 3 Nasrons, but I do believe the pinned comment explains what you do about that. You just act like you just do exactly as the guide says, but you just only do the first Nasrond. Otherwise, it's no different. Thank you, Ardell. And I do hope you enjoy the Viper on the way, Flameforged. Caetsu says, I feel like I've explained a lot that the limit gauge resets when the boss is pulled. Not every boss. Not every duty. The limit break gauge is reliable through the entirety of a 4-man dungeon. So using a caster LB does technically mean that you might be robbing yourself of a melee LB on the final boss. Of an LB2 specifically. However, I have a whole video dedicated to that. I actually have kind of a few Mythbuster sections dedicated to exactly explaining that it doesn't matter. Just use the limit break, for God's sake. Just use it. The most effective way you can use your LB is use it now when you're in a dungeon. That's the best time to use your limit break. Is if you have a caster in your party or ranged physical. When you have LB1, when you see multiple mobs, you just click it. You just send it. If you have a melee DPS, if you have an LB1, and you see a boss in front of you, just send it. Just hit it. Just smack that LB button and use it. By multiple you mean 2? Sure! Here says, I don't think I've ever seen an LB2 ever in a dungeon because things die so fast. Then you are either very new or have a bad memory. But I will say it is rare, extremely rare, to see an LB2 actually go off in a dungeon. Because usually what happens is that people will see the boss is at like 10% HP. And you're close to having an LB2. But you're not getting it. If you hold, then you will cast the LB2 as the boss dies. Or you will hit it as the boss has like 1% HP and it would have been better to just attack the boss. It would have been dead if you had just attacked instead of cast LB2. But there are cases where it will go through. But most of the time, if you do everything in your power to have an LB2 on the boss, if you have a party that is decent, you wouldn't need it. The boss would die before you can send it. But you can have an LB2 on a boss in a dungeon. It can happen. But usually it means that damage was low, as Alice says. I'm glad to hear that, Lamp. No, that's awesome. And yeah, exactly, Floral Bonds. The reason why I specifically mentioned 10% is because you pretty much have to click LB when it's about 10%. If you don't, then you won't make, like, it won't land. You can't make it. So if the LB2 is not ready when the boss hits 10%, then you won't be able to use it. Say, Louis Schnoots, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the sub. Over Mia. Oh, Ilya's here. Spying. Sunken Temple of Khan. Sunken Temple of Khan. Sunken Temple of Khan. Oh. It takes a bit of practice, that's for certain, Crusher. Oh, actually, I just saw it's the triple sob, Louis Schnoots. Thank you so much. The extra long one. Punch! Screw that guy in particular. My biggest problem as a DPS is that I play DPS infrequently enough still that I have a tendency to forget that I have Limit Break to use. And you have the people ripping LB and the Chrysalis before the Meteors and wiping. All I'm saying is that you don't need the Limit Break to beat the Chrysalis. It's just that people don't understand the mechanics of the fight. But around here, when we do daily roulettes, it's pretty common that the entire party knows how to do Chrysalis. Aerodol using the moderation limit break 3. It does help. It does help with a like, by the way, guys. It's difficult to put into exact numbers, but it does help, so it's very much appreciated. It's just, you know how it goes. The YouTuber can say everything, but it's very hard to show the numbers. Because how algorithms work is like a black box. And it should be. The moment you know how it works, it stops working. I actually have some healers get upset that that LB3 gets used. I think it's always pretty funny when people get upset that LB is used because they wanted to have it. Like, notably, the classic thing is you should have waited so that in case we needed it, for healer LB. Like, but you clearly don't need it. I have seen enough cases of specific bosses where, like, the LB is spent and then you're, like, 5 seconds later, like, man, if only we had the healer LB, right? That I get a little concerned when I see the LB just get sent. But... exactly, what if we needed it? We cleared. We just cleared. What are you mad about? This could have been dangerous. It wasn't. What's the problem? Like that? Imagine! Yami says, as a healer, I am upset when I see people use DPS LB3 before Stampede is done in M11S. Stampede is what starts the split arena phase, right? Split arena is flatliner. Wait, which one is Stampede again? It's been a minute. Oh, even later. We started using LB3 just before the whole arena split thing, I believe. And then we had like a sequence of issues that led us to just eventually go, never mind, we'll use it after. But I think if you're that late in the fight, using it at like around Stampede is not gonna give you an extra LB anyway. So that is silly. Do you know where the 2 gems or tablets of what they are needed to be put for the door to open the correct way in the Song and Temple of Khan? I used to know. Haven't needed the information in very long, so I don't know. Didn't they change how the gems work in Khan? No. People just found out that putting nothing in means that the doors, like, you just get ganked and the doors just still open. I think that was always the case. It's just that people didn't, you know, bother to do it like that. But an example of the LB3 thing for me is the first trial in Endwalker. It feels like when people use the DPS LB3 the moment it is available, it never fails. That you use it, and then like half the raid dies to the boss doing the cleave through the arena. Hey, Proxy. Hope you're doing well. Slow blood. I'm alright. We are getting a bunch of books done. I seem to remember that there's something about... I might remember that wrong, but I seem to remember that the things you need to get the answer correct, Jeff Matt. I'm pretty sure it's the 2 on the optional paths. You know, where there's like the 2 heads blocking. I'm pretty sure that that's where the things you need are. And that all the other items are just, you know, red herrings. Meant to, like, leave options for you to be possibly wrong. Ow. No, I just saw the question now. Alice says, is there ever a reason for tank or healers to use an LB lower than 3? For healers, no. Especially not nowadays. I would say that the power level of the AoE healing and such that healers have at their own disposal is to such a degree that you will never need the healer LB to do the healing necessary. You can probably do better yourself with an LB 1 or 2. Or better than an LB 1 or 2. For tanks, there are situations where tank LB 1 or 2 is useful. But healer LB 1 or 2 is basically never helpful, as far as I know. There be monsters! Hey, Nox. Fair enough. It's a catopple pass or catopple blip s. The funny thing is that they are often called catoblips. And they don't even look like a cat, and they don't even blip. Catoblips. Blip. Blip. Catoblips. I mean, a blip emote from a Kilton Wrath? A blip emote just in general would be fun. Hey, Desire! Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Ooh. And... Oop. There is something funny about a mob doing the classic all right, just have to cast my spell. Ha! Oh, wait a minute. I'm dead. The weirdest kind of coyote time. I'm glad to hear that, Desire. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, let's see if we can do a little bit of hopping to get that last fate. You keep an eye on the Ravana one, Ilya. I'll do some jumping. There's a lot of mobs at Coyote time in Heaven's Vault to finish a cast. Yeah. Can we start calling it that? I know Coyote time is when... Oh, whoops. Oh, it's here. Fantastic. Coyote time is because, you know, Coyote in Roadrunner, I believe. Like, he will run off a cliff and then he, like, be in the air and not fall until he realizes that he's falling. And it's often referred, like, Coyote time is often used for, like, platformers and things that you can still jump even when you're not actually touching the ground anymore. Because it is, it gives this feeling that the game is more lenient. Even though you're technically pressing too late, the player feels like the game lets them jump when they're supposed to still be able to jump. But I would like it if we can also call it Coyote time when enemies in video games refuse to die because they have to finish their cast. The weirdest kind of Coyote time. Oh boy, a lot of heartburn. Have you got heartburn? Yay, yay. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to kill the leader. And... nice. Right, let's see here. I believe we started with Fire 1. And I believe we started with the live quests cleared. So we got the, like, roughly 4 books cleared. That's pretty solid. Exactly, Quitchist. Exactly. Uh-oh. But yeah, we got about 4 books. 4 more books cleared. There's a lot to go still. With the mini jobs we still have remaining. But, that's pretty good. A repair gear. Does being the guard assigned to spy against the Warrior of Light include hazard pay? Probably not. Probably not. That's the, when you show up with a broken leg the next day, that's when your employer brings out the act of God exception in the insurance. Right. That does kind of bring us to the end of the stream. We got a few... Your pay will be delivered to your next of kin. I think we still got past some funny conversations and had some fun. There's some more book steps. But if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link right there in the chat. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days, usually updated Sunday or Monday. You also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams and open it out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignment room, you get a notification whenever I do that. Or something next around 15 minutes before stream starts, you can catch it right when we go live. That way you don't have to worry about the sometimes inconsistent notifications from YouTube, and maybe you might not catch it on Twitch if you're not actively on Twitch when you go live. You just get a notification straight in Discord. And if you'd like to support the channel more directly, you can like over on the YouTube side of things. You can follow, subscribe, become a member, super chat, cheer, all that goodness. If you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-Fi link. I will post it right there in the chat. It all helps support me in the channel directly, so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you without having to worry about algorithms and whatnot. So thank you so much for the support. But let's see if we can find someone to raid. Let us see if we can find someone to raid. What options do we have? I think Rothema is still starting. We could check with Rothema. I think she's doing more Pilgrim's Traverse solo today. What did you just say? Wow. Oh, she has started a little bit. Looks like she's early on. We'll hop in there. But that will be it from me. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where in the world, and hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye.